My name is George Boston Rhymes. This is take 2. And I just want to highlight that I was terminated from Wal-Mart Stores Incorporated March of 2008. This is my retirement papers where I retired from the United States Air Force. This is my picture prior to going into the military. This is the training I received once I became a non-commissioned officer, which means I went to school to be trained on how to supervise my workers. And so at this point, I want to sit down and talk on the subject of my wrongful termination while at Wal-Mart store 2615 in Valdosta, Georgia. This is a serious matter because of the fact that there are many more workers such as myself. As I said, the United States military trained me in every position for which they hired me to do. And this is the document, a 29-page document that Wal-Mart produced themselves for every Wal-Mart department manager, especially those in sporting goods, which I was department manager for at least 8 months. Yet they never entered me into this 29-page, 4-week sporting goods department manager's training. It is required that I be assigned a trainer. That trainer initial off on, date, each week of training that I'm entered into. At the end of each 4-week training, my manager or my trainer and myself must date and sign that that portion of training has been covered and completed. It's in Wal-Mart's own documents, their own directive, that this be done. And on the last page of the 4-week training, it states that if I fail to sign, date, and initial that each 4-week training period is covered, that I could be terminated. After completing what Wal-Mart requires of a department manager, after the 4 weeks of training, we're required each week to sign it and date it. But on the last 4 weeks of training, there is an additional sheet consisting of 3 or 4 sheets here. And we have to acknowledge that every aspect, and he reviewed and he checked that I am efficient on each area of training. That's Wal-Mart's requirement. I contend that I was never entered into this 4-week mandatory training for a sporting goods department manager. Yet, I was terminated under the heading of inability to perform job. Now, I've stated in my other videos, now I'm going into step 2. Now, the first year I was at Wal-Mart, here, this is in my records, personnel records. During my first year, 2005, I made sure that this was in my record when I received my first disciplinary approximately 3 months into my being hired at Wal-Mart. Everybody in the department worked on the same cash register. There was an overage in the cash register for $14.43. Each of us received a pink slip. All the other workers signed the pink slip, turned it back in. I refused to sign it because I felt that some type of accountability needed to be on a cash register. Why blame me when other people are working the same register? I brought this to management's attention, typed up a page and a half concerning accountability and that each worker needed to have their own cash register drawer so they would be responsible for what they do and not what someone else do. Assistant Manager Steve implemented my idea. It lasted for 3 months, if that. Then they converted back to everybody working on the same cash register and there were no accountability. So little did I know The clerks up front at Wal-Mart store 2615 saw me in the back down the hallway and said, "You the one that wrote that, typed that letter, and it's spreading. That needed to be done. It only made sense." And I became a somewhat underground hero in that regard. Now my question is, did that contribute to me being terminated some years later for inability to perform job? I'm going to each one of my disciplinaries that I receive, and I want you to judge. You also can go to kvci.blogspot.com and find most of my rebuttal letters that I've sent to Wal-Mart, 29 of them. During my first year, that's 2005, I was employed in January. I went through and all this is in my records. Once I found out that there was a lot of unprofessionalism at Wal-Mart, I started keeping memo for records, and I kept memo for records all through the over 3 years that I was employed there. I found gun chokes was not priced. I did it. Brim busters was not being priced. I did it. And I don't mean this in addition to, because nobody told me to do this. My military training gets kicked in, and I'm trying to build a better department among unprofessional people, ones who was getting at least $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. Fishing reels would fall on customers. It was falling when I got there, falling on the customers. So I came up with an idea to run wire through the reels, down all the aisles, and it completely stopped the falling of reels, which could possibly cause Wal-Mart money. Now the gun barrels on all guns, long guns that is, I worked in sporting goods, so we sold guns. This is what the deal was. They had a firearm resting in the yoke of metal. So I watched, I studied, and around the barrels would be damaged. Some of them had to reduce the price. So I came up with putting Velcro around every 16 or 18 guns, approximately 36 in both cabinets, and putting Velcro double stacked. It kept the barrels from being damaged, metal to metal contact. I went to my department manager, Jody, told her about it, and I implemented that at Wal-Mart store 2615. I told my managers and store manager Hal that this something that had a broader reach at Wal-Mart stores that could save Wal-Mart money. But did they care? No. And so as I would go to the other stores, store 899, I would go to Atlanta, I would stop in Macon, and I would see long guns being damaged. But nobody seemed to care. I called the resource manager, told them, and I think the district manager, I don't remember his name, told them nobody seems to care. The military didn't teach me that type of management skills. I just did not receive it. And so I became puzzled. So anyway, I went on, and maybe that contributed to my inability to perform job. Also, layaway procedures. There were no layaway procedures down in the layaway department. One day, Sister Manager Steve and one of the workers got in a disagreement, and I came up with the idea to fix that. Maybe that contributed to my inability to perform job. Firearms in the gun room was discounted, and the customer didn't know the discounted guns was back there. So I went and priced them all, put them on a sheet of paper like this so the customers could see item for item. All those guns, all those guns was reduced in price, but the customers had no way of identifying those guns. So what did I do? I did this, put it on the counter. Guns began to sell from the back room. Store manager Hal came out and took it off, said it didn't look good. And so that forced me to wonder if somebody wasn't saving those guns for their friends to purchase. Just maybe, I'm not saying. But because to me, I wanted to sell the guns to make money for the company. Maybe that contributed to my inability to perform job years later. The golf clubs were unpriced. Nobody would clean that. I did that. And all this I put in my record. I made sure, and I'm going to skip right along. There's over 30, 40 some items that I made in my first year that nobody else would do, that I know saved Wal-Mart money, made things easier to process long guns. But who cared? No one. So maybe by me coming up with all these ideas, it contributed to my inability to perform job. And I have written 29 letters to Wal-Mart stores incorporated in presidents, and I have not received even a courteous reply with a valid date and signature. Yet they told me when I was receiving training as a subordinate or an associate before I came department manager that there was an open door policy. I'm here to tell you there is no open door policy. It's a door that looks like it's open, but when you run into it, when you get in trouble, I will assure you it's plexiglass and you can hurt yourself. Next time we want to go into the processing and showing how some people get special treatment and don't even have to obey the managers nor the supervisors or department managers, and they are the ones who seem to go off to help in other stores. Those are the ones that get promotion. Those are the ones that moves up. The ones who can think outside of the box of incarceration and indoctrination, they are treated like workers in China or in some other third world nation, and then they'll terminate you and say inability to perform job. Although the 29-page requirement that Wal-Mart designed themselves, nothing is initial off. They cannot produce where I was ever entered in this training or received this training. That they cannot do. And they refuse to even answer one question that I asked them. And I'm not by myself. I have these dolls that represent both black and white are being treated the same way. And we as Americans must stop sitting down and let people take advantage of us and our family members, our loved ones, and our neighbors as if though it doesn't matter to us. It's time for a change, y'all. It's time for a change. Tomorrow or next month, part 2. George Boston Rhymes, kvci.blogspot.com.